Making It Grow is brought to you in part by Certified South Carolina. This cooperative effort among farmers, retailers, and the South Carolina Department of Agriculture helps consumers identify foods and agricultural products that are grown, harvested, or raised right here in the Palmetto State. McLeod Farms in McBee, South Carolina. Family-owned and operated since 1916. This family farm offers seasonal produce, including over 40 varieties of peaches. Wesley Commons, a full-service continuing care retirement community located on more than 150 wooded acres in Greenwood, South Carolina. Additional funding provided by the South Carolina Farm Bureau Federation and Farm Bureau Insurance, and Boone Hall Farms.
Well, good evening and welcome to Making It Grow. We're happy that you can be with us tonight. I am Amanda McNulty, and I'm a Clemson horticulture agent, and I'm here with my friend and co-host, Terasa Lott, who is also a Clemson person. And Terasa, we have a sure good time doing this, don't we?
We absolutely do. I look forward to it every time I know that we're about to record. And sometimes it's a little bit of a break because right now the garden is keeping us busy. Beans and tomatoes and eggplant. Oh my.
Yeah. And you were able to take a trip not too long ago in your portulaca. Did it survive not being watered every day?
It did, yes. That's been the best thing to put in the mailbox. I really kind of put it in there and it survives being succulent. It doesn't typically need additional water. It can just do with whatever comes from Mother Nature.
I don't know that I've seen your portulaca mailbox, and we talk about it all the time. You like to bring me a picture.
We'll get you another photo.
Okay, that'd be fun to see. Okay. Vicki Burton-Ollie over there in Aiken. It's always fun when you come, Vicki. And you're an insect person, and it's just fun because she gets so excited about things that other people are like, oh.
Well, you know, I'm trying to change how people think about insects and spiders. I want them to look at their benefit that they provide to us. And I mean, just because they have extra legs doesn't make them creepy. I mean, these things are so cool once you start exploring them and educating yourself about them.
And when I find spiders in the bathtub, I just pick them up and carry them outside and throw them in the bushes. I will say, however, that spider poop, I mean, I know they just have one thing, but it takes the finish off the floor.
It gets a little messy.
Yeah, no, it just takes the finish off the floor because I've got so many. I mean, I'll go clean up under a wooden something and where the spiders have been hanging out, and there's no finish left on the wood. Now it's just what it is.
It's fine. That's the spider corner.
If that's
the spider corner.
Yeah, that's the least of my worries. Yeah, but I mean, but, you know, I'm thinking that they catch things I don't want to have in the house, don't you?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, okay. Well, glad that we can come to agreement on those eight-legged creatures, right?
I love them.
Okay, all righty. And then Shelby Hammond, you're an agronomy agent, which means field crops, doesn't it? Okay, and you're over in Chesterfield, Kershaw, and Lancaster. And we had some kind of weird weather this summer. Are your farmers kind of coming through it okay?
Mostly. We did have a pretty severe drought at the beginning and has been continuing. I think they categorized it as D3, so hopefully let's just hope that we get some rain with mid and late summer, especially when we need it, because we're not getting it right now.
Yeah, it has been a peculiar time, hasn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you for what you do to help them.
Thank you.
And do they sometimes teach you things too?
Oh my gosh, I learned so much from them. A lot of them have been doing this for a really long time, so even though I learn a lot through research, they teach me a lot on the ground, and so it's great to learn from them as well.
And then you can share that with somebody else who's new.
Yes.
Okay, well, we're glad you're down here helping us out. David Sanders from South Pleasantburg Nursery in Greenville on the banks of the Reedy River.
Right.
How's the river these days?
It's kind of down. We have gotten some rain recently, so it's back up to its normal level. But it's still flowing. It's still historic. It's still where Greenville was founded.
How about that? Yeah. You know, my kids are out in Los Angeles, and sometimes there's no water in the Los Angeles River.
Yeah,
just got
the concrete aqueduct.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. And then they have little islands in it in some places too. It's kind of cool to get there. And my daughter Lillian does litter pickups there sometimes. They go into it and pick up litter. How cool is that?
That's wonderful.
Nice
She's being
kids.
a good steward of our resources.
Yes, she is. Okay. Well, let's see. So we're going to have some fun things for you. The South Carolina Sunflower Festival. How about that? Up at Denver Downs in Anderson. And then Hannah Michael interviewed Catherine Garrison up there. And then the Watermelon Queen. It's so much fun when the Watermelon Queens come. And we also get those great South Carolina watermelons. Two things for you to look forward to. Well, Teresa, should we look forward to these gardens of the week, or are they just brown and dry?
That would be pretty disappointing. We should absolutely look forward to them because they are beautiful. This is where we highlight what you're doing in your yards and your gardens so you can show off your green thumb and your ability to take photographs. Maybe it's not in your yard, maybe it's in a neighbor or friend or just a beautiful space that you've captured. Similar to last week, we had so many submissions that instead of featuring just a few, we've created a montage. So let's take a look. And this one from Wanda Christmas shows a bee on a cucumber flower. Cucumber pollination is very important. It takes multiple bee visits in order to ensure good pollination, and without that, the flowers can abort or we could have misshapen fruit. So we hope that Wanda has lots of bee visits to her cucumber. Wasn't it uplifting to see all of those photos? I hope that you'll consider submitting yours. Just look for the Call for Gardens of the Week on our Facebook page. Post your photo or photos in the comments with a short description, and you never know, it may just appear on air.
Well, always fun to see those. Thank you. And how about some questions? Anybody need any help, or are they just all sitting around drinking iced tea and fanning?
You know, gardening is not easy, so there's always questions. Our first one comes in from Jan in Aiken, who's asking for an identification. She says, it appeared overnight in a bed in our front yard. It contains old peonies that don't do well, phlox, begonias, and weeds, mostly weeds. Oh, poor thing. But she wants to know, what is this kind of mystery substance?
And old peonies that don't do well. You know, peonies are cold weather, that they prefer that. And there are a couple of ones that used to do well in the South. Mine haven't done much in a good while because things are changing, aren't they? Mm-hmm. Okay, Vicki.
So what's going on in Jan's garden this is really fun. So she sent me a picture on day one of I want this identified. And then she sent me pictures over the coming days so that I could see a progression of what this thing was doing.
Oh.
And what this is a slime mold. And there's lots of different slime molds, and these are
weird organisms.
Some of them are single-celled organisms, and some of them have a whole bunch of cells in them, but they're like amoeba-like is what it is. And when they're very immature, we mostly don't see them. But whenever they start to get older, they signal to each other to aggregate. They talk to each other through pheromones. Those pheromones, they're called acrasins, and they aggregate into these fruiting bodies. And these fruiting bodies, this particular one, this is called wolf's milk. And so when it's brand new, it's this pink color, and if you go and squish it, it comes out, it looks like toothpaste. And as it gets older, it turns brown, and then it'll burst and it'll send out spores. And what slime molds do is they're not hurting anything. We often find them like this particular one, this wolf's milk, we find this one June through November. And what they're doing is they're helping in the decomposition process. So we'll find them a lot of times in the mulch. And they're not hurting anything. They're not hurting the plants. They're not hurting the mulch. They're not hurting the soil. They're helping us in the whole process of life and just decomposing, helping in that decomposing process. And there's lots of different slime molds out there. One of the ones that we're very familiar with is dog vomit slime mold. And that's exactly what it looks like. It comes out and it's like this frothy yellow, and you go out to the landscape in your mulch and you're like, well, I don't have a dog. What is this?
And if I did have a dog, what's wrong with my dog?
Right. But this one just happens to be one of the ones that came into my office recently. And when Jan sent me hers, the very next day I got another one in Aiken County.
So it sounds like maybe environmental conditions make them more prevalent.
Right. So when this showed up, it had just rained. It was very, very humid. There was good soil moisture. So, and there's warmth. And so there's a lot happening in that mulch layer. And so this is a great place for decomposition to happen.
And we're so glad that people are using mulch. It's one of the most important things you can do, and not that tire business and all that crazy stuff.
Yeah, crumb rubber, it doesn't add anything to the soil profile. When that mulch breaks down, it's adding nutrients. It's helping with soil friability, adding pore space, adding organic matter. So great stuff.
Yeah, mulch. Okay. What was it Tony used to say? The three most important things you could have were organic matter. And of course, so an organic mulch would fit into his wonderful reminders of what things.
And when we're talking about organic mulch, that doesn't mean that what we're talking about is it's not rocks or it's not crumb rubber. We're talking about a plant-based material like bark or
I just think pine straw is the best thing in the world. Yeah. Okay. Thanks so much. All righty. Well, Teresa.
On to the next question. How about we help Henry in Bethune? Henry said the cornfields near my house have developed fuzzy-looking tops. What is that, and is it important?
Fuzzy-looking tops.
I think I know what he's talking about.
I think this person must not have grown up around a lot of corn. Tell me what's going on here.
Well, that would be a tassel on top of that corn. And you might not think that it has a functional aspect to it, but it's actually the pollen-producing part of the corn, which is really important for...
If you want some corn.
Yes. And pairing that with the silk, which is those fine hair-like structures at the end of your ear of corn that you really hate to pull off whenever you eat sweet corn. The pollen is distributed by wind, and so that will go onto the silk, and each silk is associated with one corn kernel. So if you eat corn and you're missing a couple pieces, or maybe they're a little small, then maybe they might have not had good pollination that year. So the fuzzy looking things is tassel, and then that goes along with your silk to make sure we get grain corn and the sweet corn that we enjoy during the summer.
So if you get a heavy rain or something, how long can that kind of wash some of the pollen away, or what are some of the factors that can be involved in that?
Well, actually getting rain during this time is really important because the plant is most vulnerable during their reproductive times of the summer. So making sure they have adequate rainfall and soil moisture ensures that there's good pollination to get a good year of corn.
Okay. I just don't think there's anything better than a good ear of corn on the cob, don't you? Yeah. All right. Thanks so much. Well, Davis, have you got something
is going to show us some stuff. Yeah.
Well, I have what I like to term as a showstopper.
Okay.
This is one of the Jazz Hands series of Loropetalum. This one is variegated Jazz Hands. It's something that should be used in restraint. A lot of times when you put something this colorful in your landscape, it tends to eat the landscape. You can have $1 million landscape, but if you've got something like this front and center, this is the only thing that a passerby is going to see. So I recommend tucking this into maybe a little nook of a corner, something where you may not be expecting something with a lot of color. If you've got a hedgerow, maybe incorporate 1 or 2 of these along the hedgerow just to give it a little bit of variety.
All right.
This one is a dwarf form, but as we have learned over the past 20 years with the Loropetalums, nobody knows how big they're really going to get. But this one, according to the literature, is going to top out around 4 feet with about a 4 to 5 foot spread.
But you said that's usually like a 5 or 6 year projection too. So when you go to shop for things, you have to kind of keep that in mind, don't you?
Yes, you do. The reason that the wholesale nurseries put that kind of a time frame on a plant is because, number one, the average American moves every 7 years, and they want you to know how big it's going to be when you leave it behind.
Okay.
And also, people tend to change their landscapes out about every 7 years. They get tired of looking at it. Something dies. They decide they want a different look around the house, so everything gets ripped out and replanted.
My goodness.
So
not at my house.
but yeah, this speaking of the height, we used to have a variety called Daruma that we offered as a deep dwarf Loropetalum, 2 to 3 feet. Well, the ones on the University of Georgia campus right now are 10 feet and still growing. When they hit the market so hard and so fast that even the growers didn't know how big they were going to get.
Okay.
So always use Loropetalums with restraint because you don't know what you're going to have in 10 years.
In Aiken, down the boulevards, some of the larger landscape plants that are in Aiken are limbed up Loropetalums.
They actually make a much prettier tree than they do a shrub because as they grow, the bark is, the stems get all gnarled and twisted. They merge together. And if you've got one that's overgrowing, just go underneath it and start taking off some of those lower branches. I think you'll be surprised at what you expose down there.
Okay. There used to be some beautiful white tree form ones in front of the library at Clemson 10,000 million years ago.
The other plant that I've got here is a newer cultivar of Weigela, or Weigelia, as some people mispronounce it. This one is called.
I got a broken piece.
Oh, thank you so much. This one is the Sonic Bloom Red. Now, most people associate Weigelas with the spring blooms, such as spireas and forsythia, that just give you a lot of color for a very short time, and then they're done.
But happy to see them then.
Right. It's a sure sign of spring. These bloom a little bit later, but the wonderful thing about the Sonic Bloom series is they rebloom. They will rebloom sporadically throughout the summer after this big flush of color in the spring. This one's got a really nice scarlet color to it. Of course, they are deciduous, so you always want to mix it in with an evergreen planting so that in the wintertime you won't have a bunch of sticks in front of your house.
That's handsome.
It's a really pretty one.
Are they pretty forgiving? How much trouble are they?
They are no trouble at all.
Really?
I've never known anybody to have a problem with this plant. I'm not familiar with any pest issues or diseases that are common anyway.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a winner.
Yeah.
Okay, called proven winners. How about that?
Exactly.
Okay. So much fun to go up to Denver Downs, and they always have great things going on. It's just a delight. And then when they have the Sunflower Festival, gracious goodness, what a good time.
Hey guys, it's Hannah Michael with Clemson Extension Agronomy Agent. Today I have the pleasure of speaking with Miss Catherine Garrison Davis. She is part owner of Denver Downs Farms here just outside of Clemson, right off of 85. We have the pleasure today of getting ready for your Sunflower Festival. I'm super excited about this. I've seen some previous footage of Amanda doing a giant slide.
Oh, yeah.
And I might need to try that later if it's okay with you. I want to try it maybe.
Oh, yeah. You'll fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
You'll love it.
So this family farm has been here for generations and generations. I know it used to be a dairy. Tell me a little bit about that.
We've owned the farm since 1869.
What?
So we are the 4th generation of Garrisons here. So Denver Downs started off as a cotton farm. Our great-grandfather, W.D., came back from the Civil War.
Wow.
And he worked for a few years and saved up money, and he bought a cotton farm. It had 200 acres on the side of a little dirt road called Old General's Road.
Wow.
Well, fast forward 150 years and it's no longer a little dirt road anymore. It's a little, very busy, 4-lane Clemson Boulevard.
Wow.
So, over the years it evolved. Our dad, T.A. Garrison, he came back from World War II and he bought dairy cows.
Cool.
So the farm turned into a dairy farm. Mm-hmm. And so it was a dairy farm from the 40s until the 1990s, and then evolved into a general purpose farm with beef cattle, produce, row crops, and but back during the 1960s, our mom started doing tours of the dairy farm.
Oh, the original like agritourism.
That's right.
Cool.
She was ahead of her time.
I love it.
Yes.
She's a smart lady, huh?
That's right. Oh, yeah. So we've been doing tours for many, many years, and we continue to do that today.
Yeah.
School groups still come flocking here with their school buses during the fall and spring. And then in 2001, we started a little corn maze. So each year we add to it, and we have a big fall festival now. And in the spring, we do a big Easter egg hunt. And in the summer, we have our Sunflower Festival, which we're sitting in the middle of.
I know. I see a lot of my friends and colleagues that come up and they take their kids out and they post all these beautiful pictures with the sunflowers and the amount of sunflowers y'all have out here. I mean, if you count 100 people out here, you still have 1,000 more sunflowers. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's wonderful. I love it.
We planted 75,000 flowers this year.
I cannot believe that.
Yes, it's over 6 acres, and there are 10 different varieties.
Wow.
Yes. So Pat Williams is our farm partner with this.
Cool.
So he started the Sunflower Festival 7 years ago at his farm, Little King Creek, and he did it there for about 3 years, and then asked if we wanted to join him with it. So it's been here at Denver Downs for the past 4 years, and it's worked out really well. And people love coming out to see the flowers, and then we also have a lot of activities open, and we have live music and the concessions and beverages that families can come and enjoy just the whole day.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I can't wait to go to explore everything you've got here. So going back to the sunflowers though, so I work with a lot of growers who do it for dove fields and just for general aesthetics purposes on their farms, but they take a little bit of fertilizer, right? And they really want a good bit of water. So irrigation is paramount.
Yes, so there's different ways you can do irrigation. So you can do above ground and you can do below ground.
That's really interesting.
Yes, so that's what we have. We have subsurface irrigation systems. So 18 inches below ground, we have subsurface irrigation.
Wow.
So over 6 acres of land, and we just redid that this year. So that really helps with eliminate the evaporation of the water as it is irrigating the sunflower. So
it can help with compaction. I mean, if we get a really hot, dry day and we get a really heavy downpour of rain, even if it's a substantial amount of irrigation, you can get some crusting, which hurts the seeds from coming up. But this, I mean, the stalks on these are huge. I mean, it's really, really nice. Y'all have done an excellent job out here. It's easy to get around, and it's beautiful. The sunflowers are at nice heights. Usually you see these giant ones that are up so tall.
We've got 10 different varieties, and we try to choose varieties that are going to be a really good height. They're not going to be too tall. Okay. A really good height for people to cut and enjoy. Yeah. And it's great that when people come out to the Sunflower Festival, they learn a lot about the flowers, and we've got people that are out here working that are going to be talking with everyone about the flowers, educating them.
You were telling me it's important to take the field heat out. Is that right?
Yes.
So how hot it is out here. I mean, it's probably 90 something degrees right now, and we're glistening so nicely. But whenever they package those sunflowers, if you were just to put them in the car, that's going to eventually cause them to wilt. So what's the next step, I guess?
First of all, they give you little buckets and to take them out and take your shears out and when you cut, you put them immediately into water.
Okay.
Then you take them over to the watering station and we cut them again under the water and pack them for the customer to take home.
Nice.
So they're going to stay fresh longer, and we explain to them how to cut them each day so that they'll stay fresh longer when they get home. So it really is fun to take them home, and we have a lot of people that will take extra flowers home with them that they're going to share with people that they love.
Oh, that would be a nice pick-me-up. I like to share stuff with my neighbors from time to time, and so I feel like maybe I might take them a bouquet home or something.
Absolutely.
Nice.
We've got lots of them out here.
Well, this has been such a pleasure. I really enjoy it. Is there any other tips or tricks we need to know about growing sunflowers that you don't think we might have covered so far?
We grow them in the summer and then in the fall when we have our fall festival.
So 2 crops.
We do grow another round of sunflowers, and we also grow more cut flowers.
Yeah.
So people can cut bouquets, and that time we also grow cosmos and zinnias and snapdragons and a different variety of flowers at that time. So Denver Downs is all in on flowers. And we also grow mums. So get your mums and your pumpkins and all that in the fall.
That's fun. And maybe we could go apple picking somewhere in the upstate.
Yes, there's that not too far away. That season comes right after sunflowers.
I know. That's so cool. So I've enjoyed this, being out here with all the butterflies and bees. It's such a nice break from being down in the low country for a spell and getting to come up near Clemson and meeting you. I've really thoroughly enjoyed this. Thank you so much.
Great.
Catherine.
Yeah. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
We come back again.
We will. Thank you.
Sunflowers, just wonderful, especially en masse like that, but also just great to have in your own garden. And they're all different kind of, colors and sizes, and there's room for everyone. And slides are fun, not just for children, as you see, but also for old people who have to go, oh, while going down the slide. Anyway, lots of fun out there. Well, let's see. Hats, corylus, which is this wonderful little textured leaf. Leaves are just wonderful, and different colors of green. I just think that one just spoke to me when I saw it. And then also Hypericum. There are thousands of different kinds of Hypericum, native ones, but this one is the most wonderful thing for bringing pollinators in. Every single different kind of pollinator from mums. This big to this big is just, I've got it right outside the house, and I just like to go out there and stand and look at it sometimes. It says, bzz, it's just a beehive of activity. A wonderful thing to have in your yard to help the pollinators. Well, let's see where we are now. Terasa.
Let's see if we have any more questions. Let's see, Vivian in Aiken has a problem with tomatoes. She said the leaves are curled up. What is wrong with them?
Tomato, curled leaves, problems. Tomatoes are a little bit difficult, Vicki.
They can be. When we look at the HGIC fact sheet for tomato pests, there's one for insects and one for diseases and disorders, and they're both extensive. And then a lot of things look alike. However, in this case, I did a little bit of digging, and this was relatively easy to figure out what was going on. So when a client comes in, we'll ask them some history questions. How long has it been in the landscape? How did you plant it? When did you plant it? What is the irrigation schedule? And in this case, because this is a tomato, we were asking, is it in the ground or is it in a container?
All right.
Because a lot of times, if it's in a container, they're going to add things. In this case, this is in the ground. However, when she was planting this, she amended the soil.
Oh.
And whenever you're making amendments, you have to be careful. So in Aiken County, we're in horse country. And so a lot of folks will use either old hay or they will use horse manure.
Sure.
And when you're using an animal manure such as horse manure, cow manure, when you're using hay instead of straw, when you're using hay, in the garden, you have to be careful about persistent pesticides. And so in this case, they were using horse manure, and we can tell that on the pastures where the horses were herbicides, they're broadleaf herbicides that are persistent. And so we see herbicide damage on these tomatoes. And one of the common ones that's used in a pasture is an aminopyrrolid. So that's a herbicide that it's a broadleaf herbicide used in a pasture.
All right.
But it passes through the animal and is not necessarily broken down as quickly as other things.
Come on.
So there's aminopyrrolid, there's some other stuff in the family. There's picloram, there's chlorpyrrolid, there's triclopyr. And what happens is because they're persistent in the soil, when you grow something particularly sensitive like a tomato, peppers, eggplant, you can see the expression of the herbicide on the plants. And so when we look at this plant, we can see that there's distorted leaves, there's strapping of the leaves. Instead of being nice and flat and broad, they're curled up, and they're gnarly, and they're a little bit elongated. And we can tell that this is herbicide damage. So with these herbicides on the label, when you read them, they're not supposed to leave the property. They're supposed to be used back into the pasture, and they're not. It says specifically on there that they're not supposed to be composted. They're not supposed to be used with sensitive crops. And so the only way that you can know if these are safe to use in a vegetable crop, which ideally they're supposed to stay on the property and be used back into the pasture, is you'd have to do a field test. And when you're field testing, that means they want you to grow something out and not see symptoms on that plant. And then
so if you want to add something to the soil when you're planting, what would be a safer way to go about it?
You'd want to use a compost that you know where it came from and that it's not a horse manure.
And some of them are packaged and very easy to get.
Right.
Is that right?
Right.
Okay. That would be pretty safe.
Ideally, that's what you're going to be doing.
Okay, cool.
So the thing is you need to know the source.
Okay. Well, all right. Thanks a lot. Well,
let's see if this one's good news, bad news. Charles is in Patrick and said he's been driving by soybean fields and he notices that sometimes there's areas where the plants look stressed or they don't look like they're growing well, and he's wondering why it might look like that. What would be some reasons to see a part of the field doing really well and a part of the field not so much?
My goodness. Well, Shelby, what are some of the things you've run into in your work?
Well, sometimes what you see above ground can contribute to what's going on below ground. So a big problem, especially in sandy soils, are nematodes. And nematodes, if you don't know, they're small, sometimes just very visible to the eye. And what they do is that they can have higher populations or pockets within certain fields, especially for row crop growers. And what they do is that they feed on the roots of the plant. So that can affect how they take up nutrients or how they take up water and affect the overall plant health and almost kind of stunt them and make them look not as good. So a good practice would be a lot of times people will do in-furrow nematicides for areas that they have a hard time controlling, and also crop rotation can help sometimes as well.
And we think, this is, 500 acres and it's, this kind of soil and blah, blah, blah. But there really can be a lot of variations within a field, I believe.
Yeah, and so that's why it's also important to do sampling in the fall. And we just recently redid some of our nematode publications as good resources for our row crop growers for the major row crops grown in South Carolina.
Vicki, I had somebody call me one time and they were in some super sandy soil over your way, and they had been taking home cuttings from their grandmother's fig tree, which was as big as this room, and just had a million figs on it, and the tree kept dwindling. and we talked and talked and talked about it, and that soil was so extremely sandy and nematodes are one of the things that are particularly problematic for a fig tree. Who would have ever thought it?
They're problematic all over the landscape. So in where we are in the Midlands, there's so much sand, and we've got multiple species that folks have to deal with, and it's not just row crops. We often see it in turf grass. I mean, there's when you go and have the diagnosis, there'll be 3 or 4 species,
and there are lots of nematodes that are just not any trouble whatsoever.
Right. Yeah. So, and there are even beneficial nematodes. Yeah. There's ones that are biological control agents. So it's really important that you have it tested at the nematode assay lab to figure out which nematode you're dealing with and if it is actually a problem or not.
And they can, farmers have a lot to deal with. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they need to be diagnosticians as well. Well, thanks for telling us all that. All righty. Well, Davis, you got some pot. What you going to do with this?
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show people how to improve their container gardening, how they can save a little bit of money, and how they can help the environment.
All right.
A lot of people have progressed more and more toward growing things in containers. Small container here, big containers. But the one thing that people ask the most is, do I have to fill that whole thing up with soil?
Yeah.
This
is a big thing.
Right.
And the roots probably aren't,
Yeah, they're only going to be in the top 6 to 8 inches of the container. So what I have suggested is doing something to displace all of that excess soil. A lot of people use crushed gravel. They use broken up pottery, that kind of thing. It's heavy.
Yeah.
Or they sometimes use crushed soda bottles.
Put that up here where we can see it a little bit better.
Yeah, they often use crushed soda bottles, which do the same thing, but soda bottles can be recycled. Yeah. So why not recycle the things that can be reused? So what?
These are these awful plastic peanuts.
Those are styrofoam peanuts, and what a lot of people have used those for years also. But when you have to repot the plant, a lot of times you take it out. The styrofoam just goes everywhere.
Yeah.
And styrofoam is something that's going to be in the landfill until the earth is no more, because they don't break down, they don't compost, they can't be recycled. But if you take something like a mesh laundry bag, or in this case a media bag from a koi pond filter, and contain your styrofoam peanuts in that, just take it and drop it into the bottom of the pot there. Fits perfectly. It creates an airspace in the bottom of the pot.
So you don't have to worry about it not draining properly.
Right. It gives you good drainage. It also helps root prune the plants that are growing in here, so they don't grow down into the drain hole in the bottom of this and clog it up. And it displaces half the volume of the soil here, so it saves you 50%
and if you
on your potting soil.
You just rinse it off and you got it for the new pot.
Exactly. When you repot it, you just take it out, set it aside, clean the pot out, sterilize it if you need to, get your fresh potting soil, drop it back in, repot, and here you go. The mesh bags usually have a drawstring. You can leave that up near the surface, so when the time comes, you just grab it and take it out. So you've not only saved money, you've helped your plants, you've also helped the environment by repurposing something that otherwise cannot be redone.
Yeah. What a great idea. Well, thank you. And thank you for bringing this big heavy thing and for being strong enough to put it up here. Let's see if you can get it down now.
Glad to do it.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, Terasa.
Well, Vicki and I were talking earlier. I like to share photos with her, and I like to see the photos and videos she takes. And she got a really interesting one of a dung beetle flying in. And I see these in my landscape because both of us are dog owners. And so if you don't pick up right away, you're probably likely to see a dung beetle out there doing their thing. So maybe you could talk about what their thing is.
So you both have dogs. I'm guessing this is kind of a clue.
Yeah, definitely is. So the beetle that I have, she came. This was in the middle of the day. This was not at night.
Yeah.
She came flying in and crashed into our back door, and it was very large. So I wanted to go check it out. And she doesn't have a common name. So this is Dichotomius carolinus, and she is one of the largest dung beetles that we have in our area.
Come on.
And the cool thing about it, so in what we all learned in school is that a dung beetle, they create their little their little dung ball and they roll it to where they're going to take it and lay their eggs, and the larvae are going to feed inside that dung ball. The difference with this particular beetle is that she's called a tunneler. She's designated as a tunneler.
All right.
So you'll have your pile and she's going to bury it right there on site.
Oh.
And I've got a cool video of her after I took lots of pictures of her and harassed her, of her burying herself in the landscape.
Buried herself
She
there.
buried herself
She
in the
did.
landscape, waiting for the next pile of nutrition to come along. So what happens is these beetles come along and they help us recycle things. You'll find them out in cow pastures and horse pastures, in backyards with pets. They help break down those piles that we have. And sometimes with those piles, you're going to see an unusual thing. Maybe you're going to have butterflies come out there, and butterflies are collecting trace minerals from there. But this particular beetle, she's going to bury it, help us, I guess, recycle.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of have that theme of recycling going on.
Nutrient recycling in our landscape.
And, and now with people who do have dogs, when they walk them, we've now encouraged them to take these specially designated bags so that they don't leave that kind of stuff where it can go into the streams or even into people's vegetable garden or something. I mean, it's really important to pay attention to that because there's a lot of bacteria, which we want to have good bacteria, but we don't want it in the wrong place.
Right.
Okay.
It's super important. And be a good neighbor. Pick up. But there's like with the stormwater programs, there's
a lot of talk about that.
Containers about how to bury animal waste properly.
Yeah. And we certainly hope that that in many cities now they have places where they have these bags available for people who are walking their dogs.
That's right. Try to make it convenient.
Yeah. Okay. Courteous. All right. Well, Teresa.
Next question. Shirley from Heath Springs. She asked, why is wheat planted in the fall and then harvested earlier in the summer than other crops?
Well, Shelby, in some places nothing's going to grow in the wintertime, but I think here things can.
Yes, compared to where I grew up, South Carolina definitely has a more mild winter, but down here in South Carolina, people grow winter wheat, and it's actually a pretty cool crop, so they will sow it in the fall. And then you will harvest it around this time. You'll probably see some dried up wheat fields that people are rushing to get out. But winter wheat has a gene, and so it has, which represses flowering until it undergoes vernalization. And so vernalization is a cold period, which is our winter. And so with an extended cold period, this repressed gene is no longer repressed, and it allows the winter wheat to flower, which in turn allows pollination and seed filling, and that's where you get your grain, which is what the people want. So in the Midwest, they have spring wheat because they have very harsh winters, and so up in the Midwest or upper Midwest, they do spring wheat, but down here we do winter wheat, and it's also a good cover crop.
And also, people used to say best thing since sliced bread. It used to be, in the South, we couldn't grow the kind of wheat that had the durum flour in it, which is what you need to make bread. And so that's why we had the wheat we could grow had soft flour. And so that's why we made biscuits, which, it's nice to have a BLT, but it's also, there's nothing wrong with biscuits, is there?
I like a good biscuit.
Yeah, they are fun, aren't they? Okay, well, thank you so much. Davis, what are we going to talk about now?
Well, what I have here is a cautionary tale.
Yeah, let's go.
This is a native plant, and of course, there's a huge interest in native plants.
Sure.
This one is a spirea. This is Spirea tomentosa.
Yes.
It's a western and southwestern native, but it has worked its way east. Beautiful plant. You can see it's got the pink flower heads up there.
Can I pull one of them down?
Sure. Yeah, let's get it over there where Joe can see it. Beautiful pink flower heads. The common name for this...
I picked the wrong thing.
Joe's got it. Yeah, the common name for this spirea is hardhack. It's called hardhack because it develops a really massive, immense root system, and it will colonize an area.
Goodness.
It's excellent.
Which would be good out there in arid places.
Right, and it's also good for soil stabilization. It's used extensively on riverbanks and stream banks because it will grow into the soil and it will stay there. But it's called hardhack because it gets so dense that you can't hack your way through it.
Wow.
And once you've got it, you will have it because the root system does regenerate pretty readily. So the cautionary tale about this is just because something is a native plant doesn't mean that it's a good plant for an urban landscape. If you've got an area that you're having an erosion problem, which is a problem in the South, with the red clay subsoil that a lot of times just won't sustain a lot of surface growth, this would be a great plant for that. Just make sure that you plant it somewhere where it's not going to encroach on the things that thrive in a deeper soil.
I guess it doesn't have any problems.
None that we've seen, other than the fact that people plant it and then realize what they've done.
Okay. Well, thanks. Because there are. Just because something's a native doesn't mean that you need to bring it in your landscape.
Exactly.
Do a little bit of work.
Yeah, find out where it's native to, and if you can duplicate that, then fine.
Yeah, all right, or make another choice.
Exactly.
Okay. Watermelons. My children from California have been home, Terasa, and they say they can't get watermelons. They're anything like as wonderful as the ones that grow here. And they may just be right, because we do have some pretty dandy watermelons. Let's talk to the watermelon queen. Well, this is a happy time for me on Making It Grow because we're being visited by the South Carolina Watermelon Queen for 2026, Tori Goldsmith from Traveler's Rest.
Yes, ma'am.
And I want to congratulate you because I think this is the year that you said goodbye to teachers.
Yes, Sam. So I said goodbye to teachers. I just graduated from Anderson University this year, but I'm actually saying hello back to teaching because I'm going to be teaching first grade next year, which is super exciting. I get to teach them about phonics and stuff, but also how good watermelon is for them. So,
wouldn't it be fun? You can take some in next year.
Hey, that's the plan. That's the plan. Got to let them know how good it is.
Well, anyway, watermelons. Although we think of cotton and peanuts, but watermelons are a pretty big part of South Carolina's economy.
Oh yeah, so we actually have a lot of watermelon farmers here in South Carolina, especially Columbia down because they like that sandy soil. But with that, it plays a large role in our economy, especially because the watermelons you see even in big grocery stores are grown here on family farms in South Carolina. So
family farmers, which is so sweet to think about. And those farmers grow other things as well because this is a specialty crop for a certain time of year. When do our watermelons start coming in mostly?
Yes, of course. So our watermelon season is primarily mid-June to mid-July, with obviously July 4th being our peak, which what a great peak, may I add. But that's why recipes like this one are so good because they're great to have by the pool, cool you off, maybe at the park, anywhere you might be where it's scorching hot outside in the middle of the summer. Watermelon's ready for you then.
Watermelon's good for you.
Yes, ma'am. So they're actually a multivitamin within themselves, and they're packed with so many vitamins like A, B6, C, all the things you can need. Plus, they have a lot of amino acids, and since water follows amino acids, the 92% of water that makes up that watermelon helps hydrate you really fast.
Didn't they do a study at a college here to look into that?
Yes, ma'am. Of course. So at the Citadel, it's obviously very hot there, being close to Charleston and such. They did a study with their athletes, seeing what hydrates them better, either watermelon or sports drinks, and then at the end of the season, they concluded that watermelon actually hydrates you a lot better than leading sports drinks, which is where our South Carolina own term watermelon fuels athletes originated from.
Oh, okay, that's really cool.
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So now we actually visit all the D1 colleges in the state and give them watermelon to their football teams to help hydrate them after those long practices.
That's wonderful. And I think before the school year's out, you go to a lot of schools and places in South Carolina to make sure these children get to taste watermelon.
Oh yeah, and especially at their field days as well.
Yeah,
because they're the little athletes then, but doing the over under and their little tug of wars, all that, they need to refuel too. So we hand out some watermelon to all of them, make sure they're nice and hydrated, but also just see how good it tastes. Give them a other sweet option outside of candy.
And these are red, and I think of watermelons as being red, but they've developed some orange ones and some yellow ones?
Yes, ma'am. So while red is, the most basic and primary color you think of when you hear watermelon, they do come in orange and yellow. Also, those are just a little bit more rare to find. If you want some of those, you could potentially go to a farmer's market, or sometimes at more upscale restaurants, they'll have them there as well. So,
okay.
Yes.
But they all are delicious.
Oh, yeah.
And some people actually prefer seeded watermelons.
Yes.
And so I think some people grow both.
Right.
Yeah. But watermelons need to be pollinated. So if you go to a place where they're growing watermelons, do they have bees there and flowers to attract them?
Yes, ma'am. So bees are actually a huge part of growing watermelon. That is very, very crucial for us. So you'll often find some other crops, like some of our other farmers will grow blueberries and other things like that. But also you might just see some pretty flowers out beside it too. But anything to get those bees to us, we will take.
Okay. Well, the result is, as we can see, just wonderful. Yeah.
I know, and you can do a lot with the result too.
But when watermelons are really coming in, if you want to do a lot with them, you can make things for your family.
Oh, yeah.
And I think today we're going to make something special.
Yes, so today we're going to make a watermelon shortbread pie. So this is the finished product right here, but today we're going to make a smaller version of that here in this cup.
Okay.
That is perfect for if you have kids, or if you just want a personal little sized one for just you, or just you and one other person. That works really well if you don't want to make a big one.
All right, well, let's see if we can put it together.
Perfect. So we're going to start with some shortbread. We have went ahead and mushed this up. You can do bigger pieces or more crushed up if you like, but you're just going to put a thin little layer right in the bottom of the cup. That looks pretty good.
Okay.
And then you are going to next add your watermelon. So if you're making a big pie, that is 4 cups of this super chopped up watermelon. You want to drain it as much as you can, but that's already done for us luckily. So you can go ahead and add it right on top of that shortbread.
Right.
Oh, you're a pro.
A little more, maybe?
I think a little more, but I'm a big fan of watermelon.
I am
too.
And they're actually cut up relatively small.
Yes, for sure.
All right.
A little more easier to bite.
Yeah.
So, can never have too many. I love it. And then, you're basically just adding more vitamins in there if you think about it.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. So then we're going to do another small little layer of shortbread.
Okay, the top crust of the pie.
Yes, this will be our crust of the pie. That is looking good.
Yum, yum.
Oh, yeah. And then if you like more shortbread, there you go. You can add more, but if you are wanting to focus more on the watermelon, you can add more of that too.
Okay.
And then lastly, to add a little finishing touch, we have some Cool Whip here, and you're just going to put a dollop right on top.
Okay.
You can also use whipped cream, but we have found that Cool Whip holds up a little better and tastes just as good. So, yes, and then you have a super
And I'm going to, let's see.
Let's see it.
Yeah, well, I think we need the cherry on top of the pie.
You are smart.
Okay.
That is so delicious and even prettier now too. So you might get some kudos if you serve that at your next summer party, of course.
Okay. Tori, thank you so much for coming and reminding us about our wonderful homegrown watermelons, and also telling us another way that we can enjoy them.
Of course. Thank you guys for having me. I love getting to share recipes, especially ones that are easy but a crowd pleaser. So I really appreciate you guys having me on.
Glad you came.
Thank you.
Terasa, we've got time to help somebody else?
We're going to try to help Sam in Chesterfield. Sam wants to know, when farmers decide what to plant, how do they choose the specific type of seed that's going to do best in their fields?
Well, that's pretty important, I think. How do they do that?
Well, that can be one of the biggest choices that they make in a whole production year.
Wow.
But a lot of times they go to their salesman to get certain varieties, and there's a lot of information out there from a lot of different companies.
So they're representatives of different seed companies. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And so that's where Clemson Extension comes in, because we're your unbiased resource. So what a lot of our specialists do is they do have different variety trials. So for example, corn variety trials. And so they take a lot of the different varieties from different companies and put them together in different locations all across the state, and so they can they look at yield, they look at disease pressure, and some other measurements depending on the crop, and that way the public and growers, they can look at this and say, okay, they're not trying to just sell me something so they get money out of me. It's a good way to be the middleman between research and industry and the person trying to grow whatever they need.
Okay. And I'm sure that, nobody's trying to sell you something that they shouldn't. They're reputable people, but at any rate, there could be slight differences depending on where they did their research and what the conditions are right here where you're trying to grow something.
Yes, and also it's a way to show that we're not getting something specific out of it, like monetary value or promotion. We're here to help them. So if they want to use this seed from this company or this seed from that other company, we can say this is a research that we found in these different areas.
And don't we sometimes have field days where people can go and see the results of these trials?
Yes, we have field days at PD Research and Education Center and Edisto Research and Education Center, and those will be coming up this summer.
Okay, and the public's invited to come.
Yes.
Shelby, thank you for that. Davis, before we go, I think we've got time to squeeze somebody in.
Yeah, we've got Hakanakloa, or Japanese forest grass. This is a bright chartreuse grass. There are a lot of yellow leaf cultivars. This particular one is a deciduous grass. It's going to die back in the wintertime, come back in the summer, or in the spring rather. It is very shade tolerant, loves moist soil, and it gives you a pop of color underneath those dogwoods and redbuds that cast such dense shade.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Thanks. And thanks to all of y'all. And thank you at home. Hope you can be with us next week. Night, night.
Making It Grow is brought to you in part by Certified South Carolina. This cooperative effort among farmers, retailers, and the South Carolina Department of Agriculture helps consumers identify foods and agricultural products that are grown, harvested, or raised right here in the Palmetto State. McLeod Farms in McBee, South Carolina. Family-owned and operated since 1916. This family farm offers seasonal produce, including over 40 varieties of peaches. Wesley Commons, a full-service continuing care retirement community located on more than 150 wooded acres in Greenwood, South Carolina. Additional funding provided by the South Carolina Farm Bureau Federation and Farm Bureau Insurance, and Boone Hall Farms.